Welcome back to Ride JBI. This is JB. Today we finished up a shock revalve on this WP kit shock. It is an older version WP kit shock, and it features some very cool and unique parts. This shock is being fitted to a 2022 KTM 450 SX that has been turned into a gas MC 450. So meaning the part number on the frame is a KTM, however the plastics, fuel tank, and I think subframe, can't remember, were swapped out as well. So that way it is a gas conversion. And this is the factory shock that is going to be mated to the back of that bike. The shock was set up for off-road GNCC riding for back east in the Pennsylvania area. The shock also received a few coatings as well to improve the aesthetic and refurbish the shock absorber. Many of the red pieces that you see were re-anodized red or changed to a red anodized. They may not have originally been red. The shock body nitrogen cylinder, the shock body mount, and the shock body tube, along with the rebound clevis, were all Cerakoted with a Storm Trooper gray. And we think it is a quite cool color. Now, we like to Cerakote a lot of things, especially older shocks that really have been beat up from roosting rocks. Reason being is it kind of fills in some of those dings and nicks that have accumulated over the time, and it really gives the shock a new appearance again. Whereas anodized isn't really going to do that. Anodized is going to really replicate the surface you apply it to. So if the surface is kind of beat up, it's got some chips and dings, well, the anodized isn't really going to cover that. It'll all be the same color again, but Cerakote kind of does a better job filling that stuff in and give you more of a uniform finish. So for this application and shock build, we felt the Cerakote coating was best for the shock parts that you see. The shock shaft received the JBI DLC coat, and we also utilized the JBI suspension 18mm shock bumper. This shock bumper also fits the Showa 18mm shock assemblies. The extra preload adjuster is also on here for quick adjustments of the spring preload. And this shock does feature a bladder, it is not a piston style. The high and low speed compression clickers up top with the rebound clicker on bottom. These older kit shocks are really cool. They feature some really unique parts. And oftentimes, if you were to buy a few on the market, you would find that they each would be very unique in their internal setup. At Ride JBI, one of our coworkers has a lot of experience with the WP kit suspension and many good relationships with the WP personnel as well. This makes it much easier when it comes to rebuilding, servicing, and modifying these shock absorbers. Without some of those relationships and access, and most importantly experience, these can be tough shock absorbers to get dialed in and working as good as they can be. Ride JBI has also tested, tuned, and developed many other settings for this style of shock. So if you happen to have one of these WP kit shocks on your bike and you'd like it to be working better, please give us a call or send us an email, and we'd be happy to help you out with that. All JBI suspension services and parts can be found at ridejbi.com.